Hello and welcome to our first impressions video brought to you by MMO Play. Today we're taking a look at a free-to-play open-source browser game called Freeciv. And it's pretty much exactly what you'd expect. It is pretty much a browser-based, stripped-down Civ, open source, and playable on a browser. You can actually play multiplayer, you can save your game, and it's pretty easy to get into. There's not much in the way of account creation, or you must wait for your email to authenticate. Nice and fast pace. The UI, pretty basic. Also, there's no sound assets or anything like that. And there's no, I guess, square grid. Hex grid came from Civ 5. This looks more like Civ 4 to me. And I would recommend getting to know these keys down here. With it being such a basic UI, you do have to go and use these hotkeys for a lot of your movements. You start off with 2 explorers, a worker, and 2 settlers. So you can get 2 cities right off the bat. And I'll just go random naming. There didn't seem to be an option for choosing your civilization, so I don't know which civ I'm supposed to be right now. Looks like I got a pretty nice little area. I got some fish. I guess that's charcoal. And then you can pick your building. I'm actually going to make a mistake here. I actually thought that was making a currency building, an increased economy building, when in reality all I was doing was taking my hammers and drinking the money, which, if anyone's played Civ 4, you don't do that early. Later, yeah, not early. Should have been maybe building a barracks, maybe building some warriors. But we're not so much focused about the strategy in the late game or anything like that. It's just showing the basics of the game. Let's see, moving around a little bit. Also, it does seem to be time-based, where you get about a minute per turn. I believe enter or space will automatically end your turn early, but you still have, I think it was either a minute or 90 seconds per turn, so maybe a bit of a, anyone's a fan of the PC Blood Bowl game, where you can do your turn in so much time. For multiplayer, I can only assume maybe it'd be nice to have higher turn lengths, but you can end your turn prematurely, because late game, I remember late game in Civ 4 those turns can get long. I remember when you log off, it says, but one more turn. Yeah, that's like another 20 minutes in the end of the game if you're doing any certain invasion. Or even more fun if you're playing the Fall from Heaven 2 mod, because those can get pretty nasty with the big old just stacks of guys to fight with. Right now, basically, I'm sending my explorers to go out exploring. I'm looking for a second place to settle. Don't want to really overlap too much. And then trying to figure out the UI and the workers. On the bottom right, it'll show you what you have selected. And you can see right there the movement. It looks like they can move over a mountain, but they cannot stand on a mountain. So you can move like that. Also starting to look like I'm on a bit of either a peninsula or an isthmus, breaking out my geography terms here today. And moving my second settler. Taking a risk and moving him by himself. The Civ player that played a lot of higher difficulty with barbarians is kind of cringing right now. And here is the technology tree. Ho, buddy. It looks intense, but actually it probably is no worse. It's just all the little lines going everywhere. It makes it look like a freaking spider web. And some different options here. You can see I got my nation here, I got my settings, players. You can also hit the manual. There is a manual. It's probably not going to be quite as good as the Civlopedia was, but this is going to be a free-to-play open-source game, so you're not going to probably get much development costs. I mean, a couple of fans making a cool browser game can't quite match the big budget that someone like Firaxis is going to be able to throw at something. Overall, though, it seems pretty competent. It does give me the vibe of Civ 4. There's a couple of things that I am missing. I don't know if there's actual hotkeys where I could hit G or whatever and then an arrow. I also do not see an option to bring up the square, the resource tiles, anything like that to get more information. Those are pieces of info that I love because I like playing on higher difficulties. Usually not DD or whatever the highest is, but a couple below that. Things that it's hard to do against an AI unless you really get a lot of info. But there are AIs in the game, and they do work with you. They tend to want to be peaceful early. I can only assume, like the real game, that they tend to get a little aggressive as the game goes on and realizing that you're actually a threat. that, and they probably are going to want to go and ally with each other and say, hey, you should join me or you're against me. So again, I'm looking for my second city, building up my first city. At this point, I'm not really building up, wasting time just making money, which I don't need. But if you want a stripped down, very basic version of Civ, probably, I would say Civ 4, and you don't want a massive download, you got an older computer, you just want to play it in a browser, or you're on the go, check out Freeciv, open source game, so completely free and just developed by everybody, and seems like a ton of fun. I haven't actually played Civ 4 in a while. I got Civ 5 a couple of years ago when it came out, and I haven't looked back at 4, which is a shame because 4 is an amazing game, and it's what it seems like it's based off of. Thanks for watching. See you guys later. It's Beijing over there next to me.